Right now we're in a really good spot for people who are on a budget. Today you don't have to scrape the bottom of the barrel and get a poor sound quality. Today with $229 you can get a really pleasing sound. Today is the day we are going to review the iFi Zen DAC 3. I have not reviewed the Zen DAC 2 or the Zen DAC, so we are starting right from the latest one. This is the Zen DAC 3. As you can see, it looks almost like a little spaceship. The Zen DAC V3 is a DAC/headphone amplifier. It has two headphone outputs, one in the 4.4mm balanced format and one in the 6.3mm single-ended format. The face is completely symmetrical relative to the center wheel, so you have the headphone outputs on the left side and the buttons on the right side. The volume wheel is an analogic volume wheel, which means that as you turn it, it increases the volume, but there is no digital controller inside, there are no steps. It is a fully analogic volume wheel. It has the disadvantage of a slight channel imbalance at lower volumes, but the advantage of sounding a bit better than digital controllers typically sound like. At the back, we have, first off, a balanced 4.4mm line out. This is a fully balanced line out, which is unheard of in this price range, so we are starting strong. We also have a variable/fixed switch, which allows you to control the volume, so either it's a variable volume DAC or it is fixed. I prefer having variable volume. There is no loss in sonic quality as far as I can tell, but the convenience of being able to set the volume even slightly from the DAC is unmatched. We have RCA lineouts, we have a digital input in the Type-C format and a power input. This one takes in DC 5 volts. You actually don't need the power brick to make it work. It can be powered only from the Type-C input, and that's a really strong positive for it. I actually have way too many wires beneath my desk, so one more power brick for me is a big minus on a device unless it has the power or some kind of reason to require a power brick. With the Zen DAC, as I said, the design is a strong point for it. It looks absolutely stunning. I love having this on my desk. It doesn't take that much space. It's not tall. It's conveniently short. Also, the fact that they made the size of the buttons match the size of the headphone outputs is just balanced. I love it. It brings some kind of balance to my desk. Now, we should start with the problems. So I would say that the only problem that the Zen DAC 3 has is a bit of background noise, which is audible both with headphones and DMs and on the lineouts as well. So it may be related to my computer because I don't have a very clean computer. As far as I know, if he actually has the DC power input just for that, so that you can use a cleaner power source. But for me, there is always a bit of hissing and background noise, even with large headphones. And we also have the power match button, which turns the gain up, and that increases the noise floor as well. So there is always a bit of background noise. The good part is that you have more features than with basically any other DAC amp in the price range. You can power two systems at once. So one from the balanced lineout, one from the RCA lineout, and you can also power two pairs of headphones at the same time, but I don't know if it is designed to work that way. It does, so that works. There is no way to select between the lineout and the headphone output. They are both working at the same time, which means that at all times you hear sound in your headphones and in your speakers if you have a pair of speakers connected to the lineout. That's slightly inconvenient because I have to unplug the one that I am not using, but at the same time it's something you can deal with for the price of $229. I am insisting on the price because this is the closest in sound and ability stack that I can recommend. This is the Topping A53 and D53, and each piece costs $229. So basically, if the Zen DAC 3 costs just half the price of what a stack doing the same stuff would cost. Taking that into account, the noise floor is generally audible only when no music is playing, so I wouldn't really insist too much on the noise. It's bearable. It is there if there is no music playing, but usually you use this type of stuff to listen to sound, not to silence. There is no USB DAC delay, which is really nice. We have MQA. Tidal is not supporting MQA anymore, and I was just starting to like it, so I don't know where you would grab MQA recordings. Tidal was the biggest supporter, so right now it's in the air, but it does. It does support high resolution files too, which once again, unless available on Tidal, I don't exactly know where you purchase from. I mean, there is HD tracks, but I typically just can't find much music there. I listen to pretty underground stuff actually. Now that I think about it, a lot of my music is available on SoundCloud, maybe FLAC, Redbook at most. So something to take into account. Don't focus too much on the file resolution, focus more on how resolute the source the DAC amp, the headphones are, it will have a much larger impact on your listening experience. The DAC 3 has the advantage of sounding really nice. The headphone output and the DAC output are both beautiful. You get a really colorful, vivid mid-range, which has a very good resolution. The resolution is a strong point. The soundstage is on the natural size, so you don't get a very expensive soundstage. It's natural. It is bounded by the recording usually, so it doesn't extend much more than the recording allows it to. Also, it happens about in the same room as you. It's not bounded to your head, so it's not narrow, it is not very intimate, but it is pretty natural. The mid-range is the highlight. It has a focus on the upper mid-range, which enhances female voices. It gives them depth, emotion, and personality. Everything just sounds so personal, direct, and emotional. It's right there in your kokoro, in your heart. The treble is on the airy, sparkly, bright side. It tends to bring out a bit of brightness in music, but it's not a very obvious characteristic. So you don't get a very strong brightness, you don't get a lot of sharp edges, but they are present, so it will not erase the sharper edges in music. This means that older and brightly recorded music will sound bright. They won't be very smooth, but the music in general is pretty enjoyable. The bass is on the slightly warm side. It's pretty neutral, and iFi actually implements something. That is the X Bass Plus. It is the boldest, most plentiful bass boost that I know of. The disadvantage when implementing something like this is that that bass boost is a bit too strong. So you get the bass, but you don't just get the sub bass, you get the mid bass, you get the upper bass, everything until about 150 Hz is uplifted with about up to 10 decibels. That means you will hear the bass, you will hear warmth, you will hear thickness, you will hear substance in music much louder with it. I personally leave it unengaged with most headphones, but for brighter headphones and EMs it's perfect. For example, for Deconi Cobalt, it does wonders for the sound. For Final Audio A8000, which is a very high-end flagship, which is a bit too neutral, a bit too bright in its default state. Then using the X-Bass will increase that punchiness, that presence, will also reduce the treble sharpness because the sound will be more balanced, and then it works pretty well. But I typically wouldn't use it for most headphones. For example, for Zigat 5.3, it's not needed. For HiFi Araya Organic, not needed. For HiFi Ananda Nano, it's not needed. For Heshi 1000 Special Edition, it's not needed. And now that we're talking about planar magnetic headphones, you should keep in mind that the driving power of the DAC 3 is not very high. So it can at most drive Ananda Nano, or let's say Araya Organic if we are stretching. But I wouldn't go above Ananda Nano with it. It's a $229 DAC amp. I would use headphones up to about $600. And even some headphones below that price point are too hard to drive for it. With EMs it's perfect with most EMs, but then again you have to deal with the slightly high noise floor. Generally speaking, you can't really find this package at this price with any other DAC amp. It's a magical package with a really vivid and personal mid-range. Is it perfect? For the price point it's very easy to recommend. The beautiful design also helps a lot. The company has a very strong support for their products, and although the HiFi Facebook page has been hacked a while ago, they now have started a new Facebook page. Not a problem, you will be able to hear the news about their products. They also are known to help their customers a lot. So if the producing company support is important to you, then working with iFi is a really good idea. At the end of the day, the HiFi DAC 3 is as good as they say. The drawbacks tend to be overlooked by those who want to spend a budget pricing, and I have reviewed amplifiers at $2,000, so 10 times more. It's normal that I'm a bit critical of characteristics like noise floor, but at the end of the day, the DAC 3 is a really good package at a really good price, and those who can spend more will be plenty satisfied with it. It's like a dream DAC amp. The sound is really beautiful and it's convenient. It looks beautiful, made of metal, doesn't grow hot during usage. You don't have to fear it will burn. It should work for forever really. About 5 years. It's a realistic expectation from any electronic, but I don't see why it would stop working after that period of time. That was just a personal thing. I tend to keep even video cards, computer CPU, and most electronics are replaced in my collection after about 5 years because the technology advances, and with the same price you get about double the performance typically. Or at least you get enough of an improvement to justify an upgrade. I hope that if you are watching this video, I have upgraded your day to a higher mood. I hope that you are considering purchasing this if you liked what you hear about it. Don't feel pressure to purchase, but feel inclined to subscribe if you are enjoying my channel. A like on the video would make my day so much better. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see each other really soon. Bye bye!